Hello, listener, and welcome to Meanwhile in the Falklands, the podcast from FITV. I'm not going to lie, I'm lying down. It's been a tough old week, and I've got backache, so I'm lying on a hot water bottle on the FITV orange sofa. Catherine's just informed us that she's lost our advert sting.
I'm very sorry, listeners of the show. If you hear random advert music, I lost it somewhere in the project.
So
Viewers of the show.
So viewers of the show, if you're a listener but not a viewer, you should be. You know, go to our website, fitv.co.uk, click on the link, week 537, and you'll be listening to it, and then halfway through there'll just be this random piece of music, and that's the music that Catherine's...
I feel like we're in a scene of Titanic. You know where Rose is on the chaise longue being painted?
Paint me like one of your Falklands women.
Yeah, that's what you look like you're ready for... to be painted by someone. Not that any of
I'm
us
going
have
to
the skills
painting on
apart from you.
Saturday. Yeah.
Should we get Richard over?
Yeah, that's what we need, Richard.
I don't think he does people. Anyway, hello listener. Sorry, we're just wittering on there. So I'm here with Hannah.
Hello.
Hello. And who is eating chocolate. I've had my fill of chocolate. And Jonny, who apparently is full of energy.
I am, yeah. I'm feeling good.
Why are you full of energy?
Oh, I feel like I'm mentioning it too much now.
No,
Do tell us about your hobby.
But I have been swimming, early morning swimming. Done that a few times this week, a few times last week. So yeah, it gives you a bit of a spring in the step, a little bit of a smug spring.
So really, that is because your body started to produce
endorphins
and enkephalins, which are addictive drugs and related to opium.
So
you're an addict.
You're making that link.
You're an addict, really.
Isn't that similar to chocolate?
What that's all about.
Yeah, maybe. Probably quite similar to chocolate, to be fair.
Anyway, we started off last week. So this is Thursday, the 10th of June. We started off last week. You went to the nursery. Brand new nursery opening.
Yes, so that was Friday, 4 p.m. Me and Catherine went to the opening of Bright Beginnings, which was really good. Much needed new facility, childcare facility in the Falklands. So it was a bit of a shock, I think, when we first came in, because we'd come from quite a quiet office. Everyone was winding down for the week, and then into a room of 30 excitable young children, all just charging around and wondering why there are older, strange men and women filming them. So it was kind of a bit of a shock, but it was good to see and a really good thing for the local community that there's that child support there.
Because there's not that many nurseries here, are there? From what I think there's only about 4. Am I correct in saying that?
I think you're probably right. Yeah, we certainly count them on one hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the owner, the name slips me now, but Caitlin. She was telling us how she'd been having the nursery in her home for the past 3 years.
Oh wow! Okay.
So she's
now extended.
Extended it and actually had this separate building built, constructed, and she was telling me about how her 2 sons were having to share their bedroom. So in the day, their bedroom was the nursery, and then they'd go from the nursery to their bedrooms once again. They get reclaimed in the evening. But I think they were by 3 years down the line, they were pretty fed up of sharing their bedroom. So that's nice.
So it's week 537. It's at the run up to Liberation Day, which actually is next Monday. So we'll tell you all about that next week. Coming up on Saturday, of course, one of the memorials is HMS Glamorgan. HMS Glamorgan was one of the very first things that FITV actually filmed. We did a big piece because they came down and put up their memorial, which is some Welsh slate or something. Yeah.
See, I remember last year when we went, the weather was not in our favour at all. So it was pretty windy, and poor old Reverend Ian Falls was trying to kind of say the speech, but the audio kept cutting out. All you could hear.
Do you know what?
Oh, no.
It's always been the same. I'm sorry, HMS Glamorgan people, but your
Hooker's
memorial,
Point, isn't it? Right on the
Hooker's
corner
Point
of Surf Bay.
is exceptionally exposed. Yeah, more so than Atlantic Conveyor, I'd say.
Yeah.
But they came down in 2011, and the captain, who has since passed away, and the navigator, Ian Inskip, who's since passed away, they all both came down and we interviewed them. It was lovely. One of my first interviews, Jonny, and he was so lovely to interview because I had no idea about HMS Glamorgan at all. And he went, I've just got some questions for you if you want to just read these out and I'll tell you the answers. And I went, okay, sweet. That's what we did. So yes, love HMS Glamorgan. On the show this week, we've got quite a bundle of stuff for you, listener. Well, you'll be viewer if you're actually watching the show. Electric cars. Tell us about those.
Electric cars, yeah. So I went for a little spin earlier in the week in this new fleet of electric cars that have come to the islands. So I've been told that the history of electric cars, there has been an electric van.
Yes,
Stanley Services brought an
Electric van down before, and then there was the electric buggy on one of the islands. But this is the first fleet of actual more than one of the same electric vehicle. So it's a Kia of some sort. I forget the full name. It's quite long-winded, but
Yeah,
they do.
You tried to make
Nito, is it, or something?
read it out in the news, which I cut it out.
Yeah, put your foot down there, didn't you?
Magneto, is it, or something like that?
Yeah,
Something
Nito,
plus
yeah,
Z.
Eco something.
Yeah, but they stand out when you look at them. I don't know. Did you guys get a chance to see them?
Yeah, the pit from the footage that you saw, and Catherine and I actually saw one today when we were doing the court report.
Yeah.
Although
That's what I mean.
It looked like it could do with a wash. Someone has obviously taken it for a good spin round town.
Well, that's what they're doing because
Yeah,
they're in the trial phase of testing the range and the batteries and just to make sure that they're actually suitable for the Falklands, because as we know, it's not just your general climate here. Like you need to.
Well,
No.
it's also a lot of short distance driving, isn't it? Unless you're going out to camp, it's a lot of short distance driving in town, and that's not necessarily good for a 4x4, four-wheel drive car. But also, like for me, I always think with electric cars, yeah, great idea, but how many miles am I going to get out of it? Do you know, how often do I have to charge it? Is it a case of I'm going to drive somewhere and then think, oh my god, I've run out of juice? Where do I charge
Stranded,
it?
yeah.
What's the deal with that? Did Sam indicate anything about?
Yeah, well, he was showing me the range on it. So the range that he had at fully charged was around nearly 300 miles.
Oh, wow.
So it has a long range.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're exerting the car more, then that battery will run down.
Going up the hills, going up
Going-
Philomel Hill.
yeah.
that's
Going
what
up
it
hills
is.
does
That's
obviously.
what will kill your electric car.
Yeah, no, that's it. Going up hills will use more battery. But then when we actually went down a few hills as well, and he was showing me this little nifty bit of tech that it's got in it where it will actually help recharge the battery when you go down a hill.
I would say it uses the momentum of you going
Yeah.
down. That's so
Yeah,
clever.
so it feeds back into the battery. So there is a bit of to and fro there, but they don't know exactly, if you're going around a real bumpy track, like say in camp, for example, and if that's just going to make the battery go haywire.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't have thought so, but I think because it's exerting more power and you're going a bit more on and off the accelerator, it might just mean that it runs out a bit quicker.
Are these cars manual or automatic?
Automatic, these
Oh,
ones,
cool.
yeah. So there's 4 of them at the moment. So one is Sam's it's a bit of like the test car that they're doing all the tests on, and then the 3 others have already been leased out to business owners, so they're going to be driving around.
So are they going to be rentals then, or?
That's the idea. So if people are interested, they can lease them out and rent them for a time being. But then also, if they wanted to make an offer of actually buying them outright, that's also on the table.
Could be the way forward for the Falklands. I mean, the thinnest ozone layer above us might actually do us some good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's Sam was explaining, it's not new technology. It's stuff that has been around a while for the rest of the world, but it's something that seems to make sense here. It's just getting the right model, it seems, and not to say that this first one is a bad car, but he was saying they're very much thinking long term in that they might try and bring on some 4x4 electric models if that's what people want and that's what works better. So one to watch out for, but it's cool. I enjoyed it. I didn't actually get to go behind the wheel, unfortunately.
Maybe we'll be getting a FITV electric car. Who knows? Years down the line.
Saturday the 12th is also Worldwide Knitting Public Day. We like that day, don't we, Hannah?
We do like that day.
Johnny doesn't particularly like that day, do you, Johnny?
I'm not sold yet, but sell it to me. Come on.
I know. Johnny prefers electric cars. This is it.
I'm a boy who likes his toys.
Yeah. Well, it's Worldwide Knitting Public Day, which is I don't know what it's for really, just to raise awareness of knitting. I don't know. But we thought we would tag it together with the fact that the Falkland Islands is a wool producer. So we went to see the very lovely Vicky Burnston down at the Wool Company, who told us some very exciting things about wool in the Falklands and what wool was like. And wool is a fabulous fibre. I think that's the underlying.
I didn't realise how sustainable it is. This is actually the nice theme for the show. I feel like the environment and
Isn't
sustainability.
It could be our
Green
environmental
cars,
issue.
Green wool and green World Oceans Day. Done.
Yeah. Apart from the shearing bit, which you just have to pretend that they're, the fleece is magicked off the sheep.
Well, hand shears eco-friendly.
Yeah.
Use no lecky.
But then the wool itself is lightweight. It forms like a breathable layer above your skin. Allows the air to circulate. Is also water resistant.
This is something I've never understood, is people always say, oh yeah, wear a wool jumper and it'll keep you warm in the wet weather. I thought when wool gets wet, it's very hard to dry. Whereas someone else has told me it's water resistant.
Yeah,
so I'm like, I don't quite understand. What's the difference between water resistant and waterproof?
Well, flick some water at it. When you if somebody brings in something that's wool, flick some water at it and have a look at it.
Right, next
Talking
time
of flicking water, I know Ollie's got a brand new coat. I was making a cup of tea and he was standing in the kitchen and I said, is it waterproof? And he went, I don't know. So I just got a handful of water and flicked it at him and went, yeah, it is. So you can see the water.
I'm sure he appreciated
Trickle
that.
down.
Yeah, he did. He very much appreciated that. I'm going to have to sit up because my arm is aching now.
You are horizontal at the moment,
Yeah.
for
I
people
won't
who
hear my
can't
voice
see.
change now as I sit upright. But yes, International Knitting Public Day. So Catherine, Hannah and I went over to Rosie's Cafe, which is fantastic. I can highly recommend their baked potatoes, by the way. Earlier on the week and did some knitting in there. So
This is something I'm going to bring in, I think, is knitting therapy sessions for FITV. So you boys are going to learn how to knit.
Yeah, I quite like doing creative,
I think
crafty
you'd enjoy
things.
it, actually, Donny. You could knit yourself some socks or a hat. You never know.
I do
I've
like
said
BAM
it.
socks. So
Exactly.
I've said it on so many occasions, Johnny, right? These military guys who come down to the Falklands and they go, right, we're going to do a challenge. We're going to tab from San Carlos into Stanley. That's not a challenge. They're fit guys anyway. It's nothing. If they want a challenge, they need to go down to the Spinners and Weavers Guild and they need to spin some wool. That's a challenge.
It is a challenge. I mean, I've tried it myself, and it was the most unrelaxing thing I've ever done.
Oh, that was hilarious, wasn't it? That was the museum community day we went to a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? And
yeah, I felt so under pressure.
your face, the look of shock, it was like rabbit in headlights, honestly, it was so funny.
Can you do that then, Paula? You can spin?
Yes.
Really?
Like,
It seems...
what's it, Rumpelstiltskin, who spins the gold thread.
Straw into gold.
Yeah, there we go.
That
Close
used
enough.
to scare me, that story.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yes, so it's Worldwide Knitting Public Day. Get your needles out. It'll also lower your blood pressure, I'll tell you that right now.
Have you guys got any projects on, before we move on, have you got any knitting projects that you've started or
Yes.
you're in the middle of at the moment?
Yes. There's a really good pattern that's doing the rounds in the Falklands.
Knitty gloves. Knitty fingerless
Yeah,
gloves. I'm
these
having a go.
fingerless
You
gloves. Yeah,
showed it to me,
it
didn't you?
takes 50 grams of wool, which is usually what you would spin. Obviously, it needs to be like Aran weight.
Obviously. Come on, guys.
Yeah, and it just takes 50 grams of wool. And that you're
I'm
doing it,
having a
aren't
go,
you?
and actually, it's quite straightforward. I quite enjoyed it. I mean, there's some bits I've been like, oh, I don't understand. But it knits up real neat as well. It's not like scrappy or anything like that. So I've nearly finished my first fingerless glove.
With 4 needles as well. Four
And then I've got
double
another.
ended
But I'm
needles.
terrible. I'm one of those people that has like 4 projects on at once, picks it up, leaves it, doesn't pick it up for another 2 years, goes, where on earth am I in the pattern? Scrap
What
that,
size am I
unpick,
doing?
start again.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. We had a surprise guest on the sofa this week as well. We don't normally have guests on the sofa, but I met Rob in out and about and said to him, why don't you bring Arthur down? Let's have Arthur on the sofa.
Yeah, he was a perfect.
Oh,
so
there we go. Boom, boom.
Yeah. So he's a crossbreed. He's cross between a Shih Tzu and a Bichon Frise. I can't remember what he called it.
An American...
A Zhu or something.
something.
Yeah.
There was a really simple name.
Teddy bear.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
an American teddy. or
Quite long
something
in the
like
body. Very, very good temperament. He just sat between us, didn't he?
I was going to say, from looking at the footage from the show, he doesn't look like he's trying to get off the sofa or anything. Very well behaved dog.
Yeah.
No yapping.
Didn't
or
bark
barking
once,
or
No.
anything.
Licking our clothes. wasn't
Yeah. My child has got a
As
bit
you're
of a lick.
sweating under the studio lights. Yeah.
he? As you did. So yeah, have a look. The second half of the programme, Arthur comes on for that.
Star of the show, I'd say.
Yeah, well, I think so because he's lovely. I've got here Christchurch Cathedral, which is quite a sad story, really, because Christchurch Cathedral has been up for over 125 years, hasn't it, Hannah?
Yeah, it has. And we actually did a piece on it a good few years ago when Michelle was working
Yeah,
for
beautiful
us.
piece on that.
She did a very interesting piece on it, but it came up this week in the Historic Buildings Committee.
Yeah, so it was a corn exchange, so corn exchange building. I think the churchy bit was one side of it or something, and in a peat slip of 1870 something or other, it basically demolished the exchange building. So they rebuilt it with some of the stone. So the grey stone you can see is from the building that had
Really, I didn't know the original building.
The original building. And they built the cathedral. Unfortunately, the brick that they use, the red brick. See, if you speak to different people down here, there's some people that say that the red brick was from the local brickworks and it's not very good. And some people will say that the brick was actually in a sunken ship and they rescued it, and that's why it's not very good.
I wondered where they got the brickwork from, because houses in Stanley typically aren't built with brick.
With red brick,
with red brick. And so I did actually when I saw Oliver's piece that's going out this week, I was like, oh, where is that red brick actually from?
And it's awful because as you walk into the cathedral, if you look at the window sill, the red brick is just mortar with dust in between it, basically. So how on earth it's still standing, I do not know. Massive, humongous crack. The windows are all buckled and stuff. It's still safe to be inside, but it needs.
But it'd be an awful shame that if it about bad weather caused a load of.
Well, we did, didn't we, a few
before
years
with
ago?
The roof, didn't it?
Yeah, bits of masonry were falling off it, and they had to put some scaffolding up to help it. And they've now got netting over the top of it, but it. I think from what I've been told, it either needs to be knocked down and rebuilt, or each brick has got to be taken out and replaced.
Oh, wow.
I think it would be an awful shame to knock it down, because it is one of the most iconic structures in Stanley. Do you know?
Yeah.
It's on the money, isn't it? It's on the money.
People know it, but I find it shocking that it's not part of the. It's not a listed building. I don't know why that is.
No, I don't know.
But it just seems like I think Ollie might discuss it in our show this week. But
Another reason to watch episode number 537, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
another shameless plug. There we go.
But it's also the venue of the Liberation Service, isn't it? The start of Monday's
any big
events.
memorial service is normally held in the Christchurch Cathedral.
Yeah.
So without that, I don't know where would people go.
I don't know. But anyway, if you are listening to this and you've got several million that you'd like to donate to the Christchurch Cathedral, I'm sure they will be very, very grateful to receive that.
Maybe
and
throw
so
a couple of million to FITV as
Oh
well.
yeah,
on the way.
yeah, and us as well. Yeah, and us as well. Friday, flu jab day. Have you booked your appointments?
I haven't.
Are you going to have it done?
I'm umming and ahhing.
I haven't actually either, but it's just something that I've just completely not given a thought to. But it's not that I'm against getting it done. It'll be tomorrow morning for us, won't it, if we do it?
Well, you've got to book in an appointment.
A single appointment, I think.
Yeah.
You've got to book an appointment. Of course, if you're listening to this, listener, we are in winter down here. We're just approaching midwinter, so flu season. But have you not been poorly since you've not been down here very long?
No, I've not been. I felt
It's
alright.
the swimming. That's
Yeah,
what it
exactly,
is.
the
It's all
swimming. Spring in
Here
my
we go.
step.
I can't remember the last time I had a cold. You said you were feeling a
I
bit under
don't.
the weather.
Yeah, today I'm feeling like today is the day that the cold is coming.
Okay.
But I'm one of those people, like, if I start feeling like I'm getting a cold, I will drink lemon sip, whatever, before.
Or any other cold remedy that's available.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? Take all the meds, because I think, right, I'll try and nip it in the bud before it gets worse. But then sometimes I wonder whether that actually makes it worse. I don't know.
I think if
I
the
don't really like
infection's there, I think that's it. You're done.
It's scuppered.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's what brings us to the end of the list that we've got here. Have you got? Sorry.
no, I was going to say surely just to add on to the flu jab, like that's good timing for you.
What, chuck the flu jab in,
Get it in
even
there.
worse.
Get it in there, and then you've got it out of the way.
Yeah, true. Maybe. We shall see. I always assumed, this sounds very awful, but look, flu jabs are for people over the age of 60.
Thank you.
Right, come on, argue this, Paula. Tell me, why should Why are flu jabs typically offered for the elderly, but never in the UK? It's like free flu jabs if you're over 60, but if you're young, you're not offered them for free. You've got to pay for them. But here, you don't.
It's a really nasty infection. There's only a few thousand people here. It's easy to do, isn't it? It's the same with the COVID vaccine. It's easy to do. You know,
I
in the
find that
UK,
amazing.
you'd only just be getting yours.
No,
you might not
I mean,
even
I
be getting
wouldn't.
yours.
I
I
wouldn't be
wouldn't have
offered
had
it
it
yet.
a second, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're only just. You can only start booking for people in their late 20s, which is you, Hannah.
Oh.
So I remember the last time I had flu, I was very poorly, and I think if I, 20, 30, 40 years older, then it would have just done me in, I think. So
On that somber note,
God, there's something to think about.
sorry,
I
listener.
have to go and do some knitting now to lower my blood pressure. Anyway, listener, we're going to leave you there, I think. Have a good weekend. Don't forget to knit out in public on Saturday the 12th if you're out and about. And remember us on Monday the 14th, because we'll be out there at the Liberation Memorial.
Remembering them.
Remembering them. Yeah, indeed. And we'll see you next Friday. If you want to subscribe to FITV, it's very easy to do. If you're living in Stanley or where there is a KTV signal, then you can contact KTV on 22349 and they'll tell you what to do. If anywhere else in the world and you've got an internet connection, then subscribe to FITV.
We have viewers worldwide, which is
Yeah.
quite interesting. So
It'd be nice.
Yeah.
Hello to everyone who follows me on Twitter, @Rita_Seagull.
There it is. Thought we were gonna make it.
yeah,
No, we're not. I need all the followers I can get.
And don't forget, you can watch all of our, a lot of our features and stuff on our YouTube channel.
On our
which
YouTube,
we
yeah.
update regularly.
Yes, you do now. So the FITV channel on YouTube is jam-packed full of stuff. Jam-packed full.
Goodies.
Anyway, we shall have a good weekend. Stay safe during the week, and we will speak to you next week.
Bye.
See ya.